Dressing for your body shape can elevate your style. It's all about visual harmony and playing up your proportions. And even while dressing modestly, you can still wear clothes that fit and flatter you. The goal of this video isn't to make it seem like you can't wear this and should wear this, but it's more to just give you an idea of how you can find outfits that really look like they were tailored just for you, the most flattering styles that work for your body shape, all while staying modest and classy. Today, I'm sharing with you modest styles for each specific body shape. I've asked friends, done research, all to put this video together, so I hope that it can be helpful. Starting first off with the inverted triangle. This means that you have broad shoulders in comparison to a more narrow hips and waist. You can think of it as a 3-to-1 ratio. If you're trying to dress modestly and you have an inverted triangle, you want to add volume to your bottom half, and there's a lot of modest styles that you can do this with. You can do this with dresses such as the A-line style, the fit and flare style, and the drop waist. For bottoms, you can go with pleated skirts or pants, wide leg pants or jeans, full skirts, and also opting for light colored bottoms and something darker on the top can be a good way to use color theory to create balance. For tops, you want to go with asymmetrical necklines. And yes, there are cute, modest, asymmetrical necklines out there that may not be as revealing as something that's completely off the shoulder. You can do peplum. Wrap tops look really good on an inverted triangle, as well as a high v-neck. And again, there are a lot of cute tops that have a v-neck style, but they're high enough so you don't have to deal with cleavage. Don't be afraid to wear things with poofy shoulders or shoulder detailings. In fact, I think that these type of tops actually hide your broad shoulders in plain sight. The key is to just make sure you balance it off. So I have this really pretty red dress with poofy shoulders, but it has a nice nip in the waist and then it goes out at the hips. So I can have the pretty shoulder detail, but I made sure I balanced it. Next, we have the hourglass figure. This is more of a 2-1-2 ratio. Your waist is the smallest in proportion to your hips and your shoulders. For the hourglass, a mistake that's often made when trying to dress modestly is wearing baggy, loose-fitting clothing. This completely hides your shape in a frumpy way. You can still dress modest, but also define your waist. You can wear like a nice flowy dress and just tuck it in or wear a belt with it. For an hourglass figure, the dresses that look really nice include a wrap dress, an A-line dress, and a mermaid dress. For tops, you can go with belted tops, anything that cinches you in at the waist. And then for pants, you want to make sure that you define your waist. You can go with straight cut, pleated, and high rise look really good on an hourglass figure as well, as long as you have a long or normal sized torso. The shorter your torso, you would be better off with a regular rise or a mid-rise pants. Oftentimes with an hourglass figure and an inverted triangle comes a bigger bust. Here are some tips on how to dress modestly if you have a bigger bust. One, you want to avoid baggy tops, tops with embellishments, and just really loud details in the neckline area. Instead, opt for tops that have a beautiful soft drape and high v-necks. These are very flattering on a bigger bust, and it really helps just balance out your proportions. You also want to avoid high-waisted bottoms because you want to make sure there's still some visual representation of your torso. You wouldn't want to have your bust and then just like your waist like back to back. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So make sure you opt for maybe like a mid-rise or even just a regular rise pants would just be a lot more flattering. Next, we have the pear shape. This is the complete opposite of the inverted triangle. This means that you have a 1-to-3 ratio where your hips are the widest in comparison to your waist and more narrow shoulders. For the pear shape, if you want to dress modestly, you want to avoid straight cut styles. And I say this because these styles were not made to complement your curves. They are kind of honestly working against them, and they're going to end up creating a very tight and modest fit, even if it looks like it fits fine on the model. Instead, opt for clothing that gracefully skims the body, such as the bias cut. I think that the bias cut was made for the pear shape. It is so becoming, so feminine and modest all at the same time. As for dresses, you can go for the bias cut, an A-line, wrap, or empire. For tops, you can go with a boat neck, a cowl neck, asymmetrical waistline that looks super cute, as well as anything with a statement sleeve. And then for bottoms, just keep in mind, Curve Love will be your best friend. And Abercrombie is not the only brand that has Curve Love or like some type of curvy bottom line now. Basically, it's nipped in at the waist, but then there's a lot more fabric and room in the hips area. So now you can have a very flattering style that fits you properly in the waist, but it won't be too tight in your hips. If you have a bigger bum and you want to dress modestly, you want to avoid those straight cut bottoms. Just like with the pear shape, they're not made to complement your curves, so it can get tight. In fact, you want to avoid styles that kind of cup in that area. It doesn't have to go straight down, but maybe opting for a bias cut would look really nice. As well as Curve Love bottoms, again, they'll nip you in at the waist, but there'll be a lot more room in the hips and the back area. And then when it comes to skirts, voluminous skirts actually won't be the best option if you have a bigger bum. My friend was describing it to me, but she was just saying that like when she wears like really voluminous poofy skirts, they end up riding up in the back and then they're just not practical when she's bending down. Instead, long A-line skirts are going to be your best friend, and just as important is the style of the clothing that you wear is the fabric. And that is because something can be modest just based on the fabric. If you avoid clingy, thin fabrics, the exact same style can be a much better option than if you went for a clingy, tight-fitting fabric. Next, we have the apple shape. This means that your waist or your midsection is the widest in comparison to your hips and your shoulders. For the apple shape, you want to avoid visual waist definition. Instead, use your clothing in the shape of the clothing to create that waist definition. You can do this with dress styles such as a wrap, A-line, fit and flare, and empire. Looks really nice. Flowy bottoms in mid-rise look amazing on the apple shape. And when it comes to tops, a wrap top, draping tops, a Sabrina or like peplum style, and button-ups look really great on the apple shape. Lastly, we have the rectangle body shape. This means that your shoulders, waist, and hips are relatively the same proportions. You want to, again, just like the apple, actually avoid visual waist definition and instead let the clothing silhouette create that waist definition. For example, you can do this with dresses such as an A-line style, dresses that have a tiered skirt, a fit and flare, as well as neckline details, full skirts, pleated bottoms, and the straight leg. I hope that this video was helpful. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, and if you have any tips for dressing modestly for your specific body shape. And you already know I have made a little guide to go along with today's video. I wanted to make it so if you're on the go and you're shopping for modest clothing, you have like an idea of what clothing styles would look super flattering on you. I will end this video in saying you can wear whatever you want. This was not to be like a strict rule book or just some type of thing that you have to follow to the T. It was just to give you some ideas on what styles would look very flattering on you specifically. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I can see you in the next modest fashion video. Bye!